United States is now recognized globally as one of the most oppressive police states on Earth. This film conclusively proves the existence of a secret network of FEMA camps, now being expanded nationwide. This documentary exposes how the continuity of government program has established an all-powerful shadow state. Police State 4 chronicles the sickening depths to which our republic has fallen. Prepare to enter the secretive world of emergency dictatorship. Body scanners, sound cameras, citizen spies, stage terror, and cameras on every street corner. It's only the beginning of the New World Order's hellish plan. The police state isn't coming. It's here. Secure your copy today at Infowars.com or see it online in the highest quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Smithing and do all kinds of things.
You even sell guns.
We even...
well, go to the rabble slave with a weapon. Disarm him. Get the guards. Disarm him immediately. Whereas one of the slaves has a weapon. Raise the alarm.
I want to be crazy, crazy like Alex Jones. And yet have enough gumption without a presumption to know what's going on. Then I can throw bananas at the global clowns and hear aristocratic moans. I want to be crazy, crazy like Alex Jones. I went looking one day on the internet just to see what I could find. When I heard this talk show maniac just proudly speaking his mind. It was really wild, but the more I heard, it made a whole lot of sense to me. I want to thank you, Alex, for opening my eyes and helping the blind to see. I want to be crazy, crazy like Alex Jones. And yet have enough gumption without a presumption to know what's going on. Then I can throw bananas at the global clowns and hear aristocratic moans. I want to be crazy, crazy like Alex Jones. All the talking heads on the TV screen with an arrogant sophistication, talking about what's been going on around the world and here in that nation. They all seem to turn like a pack of wolves when Alex goes on the air. In spite of the facts, they launch their attacks, and I just don't think it's fair. I want to be crazy, crazy like Alex Jones. And yet have enough gumption without a presumption to know what's going on. Then I can throw bananas at the global clowns and hear aristocratic moans. I want to be crazy, crazy like Alex Jones. Yeah, I want to be crazy, crazy like Alex Jones.
You know, there's a guy for 20 years that's been exposing the New World Order. He was an Air Force officer. He was a best-selling author. He was the guy that wrote the big Defense Department training manuals. He was somebody who woke up to the New World Order 20 years ago and who was one of the seminal people whose books I read that were #1 bestsellers that helped expand my knowledge. He was a guy in 1993-94 that wrote Project Lucent, exposing the RFID, the tracker chips, the smart dust, the control grid. I can't think of anybody I've interviewed more visionary than Pastor Texe Mars and his incredible ministry and all the things that he does. We're going to give you his websites and give you a number for his free newsletter, but he's here joining us tonight, and it's always great to have Texe Mars with us for the rest of the hour. Then Weldon Henson, who works in the office, great country music singer, is going to be in here to play a few songs. Then we're going to open the phones up for another hour, and we've got more guests joining us, Gerald Celente, you name it. But Texe, it's great to have you here with us during this 27-hour live transmission.
Alex, I'm just delighted delighted to be with you, especially on an occasion like this MoneyBomb thing, because I'll tell you the truth. I'm really upset about this. I mean, my whole system is just going nonstop. But if people realized how precarious, how dangerous the peril is right now today, I think they would give 3 times as much as they're already giving. I know you're going to have a successful money bomb, but when we finish this next 40 or 50 minutes, I hope people will really help you because, you know, we've been friends for a long, long time. And you started out on a shoestring, and, man, what you've done, miracles.
Well, you married my wife and I over 10 years ago.
Well, there was a miracle right there. You know, you really married up. Oh, no. Only kidding, Alex. No, I'm delighted. She was a very precious lady. She still is. And those kids are precious. So I tell you, you've really done well there, too. But I want to make sure that the America that we know can be great and was great will be exactly that. I feel for your kids and for families out there because America is not the same, and we need to restore it as much as we can. And we have such a fictitious political system. In fact, what we really have, Alex, and I think you'll agree with me on this, what we have is a global culture of corruption by the elite. It's unparalleled in greed and criminality. You know, it really represents the failure of globalization. It's the failure of globalization. And we should return back to patriotism, to nationalism, to America first. But as this proceeds, and I believe some bad things are going to happen over the next year, particularly. As it proceeds, though, they will come up with their solution, and their solution will not be less globalization, but they will say, we need more. We need, just like even the Vatican was snookered into issuing a statement this week that said, we need a supranational organization.
A world government, a global currency.
Exactly, a global currency, a global bank system. And, we already have these criminal organizations, the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, the International Bank of Settlements, the European Central Bank, and, of course, the counterfeiter, the greatest counterfeiter in the history of mankind, which is the Fed Reserve. I mean, their printing presses are unimpeded by U.S. laws. Alex, I have right here in my hand, it weighs about 10 pounds or so, maybe not that much, a copy of the first audit of the Fed Reserve System. In fact, I want to give people the number on it because they can ask their congressman for a copy. Now, remember, this is, as you know, a partial audit. Now, thanks to Congressman Ron Paul, and I have to admit to even the socialist senator from New England, Bernie Sanders, there was a little bit of legislation that required the Fed to at least come clean, supposedly, on a small period when they were doling out, this $16 or $17 trillion. Now, remember, $17 trillion, this report talks about, and it lists supposedly all of the corporations and banks throughout the world and how many billions they were given during the last couple of years by the Fed. The number of this, and it's dated July 2011, is GAO. Of course, that's the Government Accountability Office. GAO-11-696. But I'll tell you what, you don't want to eat a full meal when you're reading this 207-page report. You may vomit it up because, I mean, the money is incredible. Did you know that the European Central Bank was given a total of $8 trillion in a total of 271 transactions?
Yes.
The Bank of England, $919 billion. The Swiss National Bank, $466. The Bank of Japan, $387 billion. The Denmark Bank, the Reserve Bank of Australia, the Bank of Korea, the Norway, Banco de Mexico. Even rich Germany, the Deutsche Bank got $77 billion. The Paribas France, $64 billion. Barclays of the United Kingdom, $232 billion. Now, Now, Royal Bank of Scotland, I could keep going, and I haven't even named the American banks. But then we get to the corporations, Alex. We get to, everybody complained about poor old General Motors, right? They made the CEOs of Ford and General Motors and Chrysler go beg and grovel for some money from the TARP. Oh, it was an embarrassment to them. Meanwhile, the Fed under the table was giving more. They gave 10 times as much money to corporations overseas like Volkswagen, like BMW. Can you believe that? And they were keeping it all secret from us. I mean, even McDonald's, one of the richest restaurant fast food places in the world, got billions. Caterpillar Corporation. It goes on. I mean, the list is incredible. It goes pages and pages and pages.
MSNBC got our bailout money to demonize families, to push abortion, to push gun control.
There you go. And of course, all of this is by plan. Now, what gives the Fed, and by the way, this is a one-time partial audit that will never be repeated. So we should give thanks to Congressman Ron Paul for getting a list of this $17 billion. But it's been said that the Fed Reserve probably has given out $50 trillion. Now, here's the thing, Alex. If you came to me and you wanted $1 million loan, and I gave it to you at 0% interest, that's a pretty good deal. A lot of these people got 0% interest on their loans and no collateral. Now, you could at least turn, and this is what has happened. This is how we're financing this gigantic debt. You give a huge bank overseas or here in the United States, Citicorp, J.P. Morgan Chase, SunTrust, whatever. You give them $50 billion at 0% interest, and they go and buy Treasury notes, the U.S. debt, and get 3% interest. Now, they don't care about giving loans to people to buy homes or automobiles or entrepreneurial businesses. Hey, they can get 3% for doing nothing. So they take with the left hand billions and billions, and they buy U.S. debt, Treasury notes and such. It is the biggest scam in the whole world. It is. I have never seen anything like it. Evidently, this has been going on for a long, long time, maybe since 1913. But as an attorney told me, evidently there is nothing to prevent. You know, this is why we see the manipulation on the stock market. If it goes down 300 points today, don't worry. The Fed Reserve and their banking pals, for temporary reasons, can drive it up 300 points tomorrow. So that's why it's so volatile. It's whipsawing back and forth, and people are losing their money left and right. And I believe what they're doing is redistributing the wealth of America. We were the richest country in the world, but they are redistributing this wealth. And that, you know, when we start with the money, but then we go to the oil, they're preventing us from producing our oil through the environmental program and all of these restrictions of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and all this. Meanwhile, though, Iraqi oil is being pulled up out of Iraq is the world's second largest oil producer. Where do you think the oil of Iraq is going? Remember Cheney told us, Alex, we won't have to pay 1 cent out of our pockets for the Iraq war.
Oh, yes.
We'll get all that oil from Iraq. But here's the problem. They built 2 new pipelines across, to the Mediterranean from Iraq. And BP, yes, infamous British Petroleum, BP, and the Chinese National Oil Company, CNOC, are getting all the oil. Listen, all you have to do is Google it up, and type in Google, China National Oil, BP, Iraq oil. You'll find that they've got a contract. They're the ones that got the contract. They're bringing the oil out of the ground, and they're rolling it through these 2 pipelines that the United States built and is protecting with our military. And guess what amount they're paying for that oil? Well, you and I know that it's around, today I think it was $94 a barrel on the world market. They're paying Iraq $2 big bucks, Alex, to BP and the Chinese National Oil Company. Now, where's the oil going? Is it coming to America? Are we getting a discount? Forget it. I'll tell you where it's going. The oil is going over to the Mediterranean. They're loading it on BP tankers. It's going all the way over to China, and China has built 25 new gasoline and oil refineries. The United States hasn't built one since 1976. And in fact, Sunoco, one of the biggest gasoline refiners in America, recently announced that they don't have any business. They don't have any, that nobody wants to get their gasoline refined with them, and they're going to close up their last 2 gasoline refining plants in America. That'll mean probably 10,000 people laid off. Why is that? It's because China has built, 25 new gasoline refineries in the last 10 years. China doesn't even have any oil to refine. I mean, they have a little bit there in the China Sea and such, but they're basically without such natural resources. But they're getting all this oil. So what is happening is the United States is laundering the oil with the aid of the Rothschild Corporation, BP. It's going across in these new pipelines we built. That is the reason for the Iraq War. And China is being built up. Can you imagine? They're getting the oil for $2 a barrel, and they're selling it on the world market for $94 billion. And meanwhile...
Why are the globalists building up China? Because the CFR, as 20 years ago said the Chinese century's coming, 21st century. Why? Why is that the model?
Well, here's the reason why, Alex. Now, you think of this. We first have monopolistic cartel capitalism, not free capitalism, as we once had, but it's cartel capitalism. Now, the synthesis of that occurs when communism is integrated with this cartel capitalism. So you have a combination. Red China is the model for the New World Order. The Rothschilds and all the other elite. George Soros even announced it. You can go on YouTube and look it up. George Soros, you'll see him being interviewed.
No, they say Communist China is the model.
It is the model. Soros said it will be the leader of the New World Order, and he threatened America. George Soros said, America better not resist. So, it's easy to get rich when you have the world's second largest oil-producing company, and you're paying $2 a barrel, and it was all arranged by the United States. Now, why would our own country stab us in the back and give Red China all this plush stores of oil? Well, the same thing has happened in Afghanistan. Now, I want to reveal something to your audience that I doubt very few people know. In Afghanistan, they even actually admitted a little bit that they had found incredible stores of minerals, copper, tin, aluminum. Well, guess who got the contract to dig it all out? Go online. You can actually see pictures. I mean, hundreds of miles of huge holes in the ground. And that's why Caterpillar and these other big land-moving, equipment companies, their profits are so high. They're selling all this equipment, and the Chinese mining corporations have moved into Afghanistan. Why are we there to fight the Taliban? There's very few Taliban. We're there to protect the Chinese. In fact, I found a story online that was Dateline, I think out of India, where the Red Chinese government complained to the United States that our military wasn't doing a good enough job in protecting the tens of thousands of Chinese copper and aluminum miners. They're getting all the minerals and treasures out of Afghanistan.
I saw a report. Texe, I saw a report 6 months ago where 92% of world rare earth minerals are Chi-Com controlled.
There you go. And the same thing is going on in China. Africa. Red China is moving in there with all the coal and the gold and the diamonds, the oil and so forth. So we have the same situation going on at the arrangements, and now you and I know what to make sure that the Chinese are protected as they steal all this stuff. The African Command was set up by Obama and our Pentagon. We're going to be there to die and protect the Chinese, and this is why. Listen, Red China, with this recession going on, they're not selling their products. I mean, they're not selling the toys and the furniture and the clothing, because our economies have been suffering. The consumers really haven't been able to spend, especially in Europe. So how is China continuing to build gigantic empty cities? What's going on? I was driving down the road listening to Larry Kudlow, who's on CNBC, and a pretty honorable guy, at least, you think. But he has a guest on from Red China, a Red China analyst who lives over in Red China, and they were talking about the growth, the incredible growth of the Red Chinese economy and how in so many years it would be greater than America's. And then the guy said, Larry, that Goldman Sachs has gone in and built 200, that's a bank, right, a bank. But Goldman Sachs, he says, has built 200,000 gigantic warehouses throughout Red China. He says these warehouses are bigger than any airplane hangar in the world, probably. And Larry Kudlow was shocked, and he said, 200,000 warehouses? Well, what are they putting in those warehouses? He said, they're storing things, rubber, lumber, tin, copper, ore, coal. And then I realized why the coal companies in America are prospering, and their profits are at an all-time high, and the railroads' profits are high. We too are sending all of our coal and our ore and other things to Red China on ships. Now, 200,000. Now, I immediately started doing some research, and when I get to it, I'm a pretty good researcher, not the best in the world, maybe not as good as Alex Jones, but, I'm sort of at the elementary level. I try. But I found out that indeed, to do this, Goldman Sachs, now remember, a bank, but one of the largest banks in the world, and they have a huge headquarters in Red China, that Goldman Sachs had bought the previous year the largest warehouse building construction company in the world and put it to work in Red China. Now, what are they storing up all these things for? Why would they have 200,000 warehouses in Red China full of all of these natural resources? Are they expecting a World War III? Do they want to be ready when it occurs? How did they get the money to buy all this stuff? Some terrible things are happening. And Alex, when you go to Europe now, we are told, now you think of it, now there's $800 trillion of CD debt swaps, most of them still out there. And that's the reason they were marketed around the world because of the subprime loans and all that. These $800 trillion, and Bob Chapman has done a great job of exposing this on your show, you and he, of these CD debt swaps. And, of course, they were marketed everywhere. They failed, and now they have yet to be covered. Now we're being told that Greece, that the whole world is teetering on the edge of utter financial collapse because of a little country named Greece of 14 million, the size of, say, Arizona, and its major export is what? Olive oil? But they're telling us that through contagion, or a virus, you might say, a financial virus, that banks everywhere around the world might be connected, and if Greece falls, the sovereign nation of Greece, then the whole world system may fall. And it brings me back to Alan Greenspan, who, and I in my new book, I quote him, and in 12 different speeches he used the term creative destruction. What we need is creative destruction. They coined a new term. They're going to destroy everything, but on the ashes, like the phoenix that comes out, they're going to create this new world order. But listen, this is hokey. What if Greece didn't exist tomorrow morning? The whole world would go on. I mean, I'd be very sorry for the Greek people. But I mean, olive oil, 14 million people. Come on, something is going on big here. They need a pretext. They need an excuse. But Greece is not going to break the whole world. If it didn't exist tomorrow morning, it wouldn't affect the world, except unless somehow it's the fuse of the dynamite. Now, there we have a whole different system, and maybe they're not as incompetent in fixing this Greek situation as they appear to be. Maybe, in fact, this is the first salvo of World War III in terms of financial war. So I'm just very concerned.
No, Texe, continue covering that.
Well, we see these things. We see this global network of criminal organizations. We see this Fed that probably has given out $50 trillion. And, you know, we're worried because our federal debt's going to be $3 trillion, right? Oh, we're going to be $3 trillion in debt this year. How are we going to cover that $3 trillion, whatever it is? Meanwhile, the Federal Reserve goes out and just loans people at 0 or 1/4% interest with no collateral around the world over $50 trillion. And I have the bank audit, thanks to Ron Paul, that shows where 17 trillion of it went. What an amazing amount. Who would have ever thought that the printing presses could do such an impressive... And by the way, it wasn't just the Fed, you know, one little old bookkeeper sitting there. They went out and hired 50 or 60 other banks and accounting companies to do the disbursements. I mean, they were lending out money so fast when the big recession hit in 2008, they couldn't handle it all themselves. They had to go out and hire other banks to lend all the Fed's money they were printing to other banks. It was the biggest distribution. In fact, I think they have lent out more money in the last 3 years than has been created since, well, caveman days. I mean, can you imagine? That's how much they've lent out. Now, they will not tell us. The only congressman, other than Ron Paul, that's done a good job on this is that the Congressman Alan Grayson. And you can say what you want to. He's a liberal Democrat, but he sure embarrassed the chief counsel of the Fed and Ben Bernanke a little bit. But, by the way, they made sure he was put out of office the next election, Alan Grayson of Florida.
No, we've interviewed him. By the way...
All right. Good.
By the way, I want to shift gears here for a minute. I'm normally listening to you, Tex, while you're talking, but Jesse Ventura just called me back again. The TSA has ruled against his lawsuit. He can't even have a day in court for the TSA grabbing his genitals. What do you make of all this martial law garbage and open internet censorship talk and FEMA takeovers of media? I mean, it's getting crazy.
Well, it is. You know, even during the Bush days, we knew of the spending. They initially announced $400 million to build, what we would call concentration camps. And this relates, as you've done so many times, a great job, the continued continuity of operations program. There absolutely is that program. And all of this, of course, has been planned. And the amazing thing is how much money they've spent on it. I mean, obviously, many hundreds of billions of dollars to develop these systems, and the Justice Department is covering all of this up as well. I'm sorry to hear that about Jesse Ventura, but it shows you that even the courts are not going to stop the out-of-control police state. And the only thing that will stop it is programs like Alex Jones growing gigantic, without, and I want to repeat this, without the big billionaires that are giving money to the Herman Cains, the Romneys, and even Rick Perry, and of course Barack Obama. He's got a money machine going too. All of these people are built up for their little jobs, and they will continue this new world order in the crash of the world's system. I think one of the scariest things, though, Alex, I've heard, is not just TSA, but these rural collectivities, rural councils to control our food and the farming system that Barack Obama has set up. Now, this goes all the way back to, Lenin and his new economic...
Oh, they're setting up these rural councils, governors' councils. I mean, this is right out of the Soviet Union.
It absolutely... I wish people would go back and get old books about the Soviet Union, truthful books, that explain how the communists, Lenin, Stalin, Kaganovich, and Trotsky, and the others... first, we have to understand the bankers put those communist monsters in office. We need to understand that New York, German, British bankers put these people, Lenin and the others, paid them millions of dollars and sent them on this horrible escapade into Soviet Russia. And they grabbed the hair of that entire empire and turned it into a killing machine. And I see the same pattern. Everything. They're gearing up.
Tex, I got to say this now because I mean it. This is now life and death, and I want your analysis. There is no doubt that a red terror domestic police force, total gutting of America, where the New World Order wants to rewrite this country and really break the will of the nation, is being set up. But as great as the Russian people are, this is not a bunch of poor farmers in the ice tundra of Siberia who never had a history of freedom. Our founders left us with the hundreds of millions of guns. It is not going to go that way, but they're playing the same old playbook of communism. And my God, I mean, I pray to the Lord this gets reversed, but this is a collision course towards violence, because there's a lot of people, and I'm talking about 50 to 100 million, who are going to end up fighting. And I don't think these chicken neck globalists, all these pot-bellied little perverts, realize what's going to happen to them, Texe. It is the incredible restraint that has stopped violence, not weakness. There is an army of loving, compassionate people who make the worst globalist killer look like a wimp, literally waiting with giant armaments for an absolute assault on evil.
You know, Alex, I believe you're right. And they don't compare with the Occupy groups. All these people that don't really know what they're doing, that have been aroused, and many of them don't even know why they're there.
No, the Patriots know exactly who they're going to hit.
Yeah, and even the Tea Party people, bless their hearts, they're good people, very well-intentioned, but as you know, they have been used as well. And in fact, they're the cheerleaders for the 7 wars we're fighting over in the Middle East. So they're not going to be much help to us either. But I agree with you. The Red Terror will start, but when it does, there may be a decided difference in what happened with the peasants in the Soviet Union. But I will say this. You know, you mentioned the TSA, and there are all these other, everything from mind-reading machines to the Predators. You know, Rick Perry wants to have these Predators. Well, you know what they're really going to be used for. They're not going to be used to stop the Mexicans from coming over. But I do believe they will have the Mexican drug cartels and line them up and turn them into killers against us. I think that's probably the real reason for the Fast and Furious thing, to break down the borders, to bring in gun control laws, and say we have to do it because these, as you know, these drug cartels have got a hold of these guns. The laws are too loose, and so we're going to have to tighten up things, and we're going to have to end the Second Amendment. That's what they'd like to do, but there are already too many guns out there. I mean, people, your show's been on how long, Alex? And I bet
17 years.
17 years. There might be 10 million Americans that have bought guns after listening to your show, and I don't blame them one bit. So good for you. And by the way, that is a right to keep and bear arms. In fact, our founding fathers said that's the key. That's the key to freedom, is to be able to put down the government when it turns into a dictatorship. And I know that sounds extreme, and I'm not calling for it. I think it should be the last thing we do. But once the order is given for this Red Terror, remember, the Soviet Union had around 200 million people in 1917. 200 million. 66 million perished. 66 million. Hey, that made Hitler 6 million or whatever look like a picnic. I mean, 66 million out of 200 million. Now, we have 320 million people or so. That would mean over 100 million that would perish if this Red Terror really got going. Now, I think the Soviet people were shocked about it. They couldn't believe it was happening. But everything is happening just like it happened in the Soviet Union. And at first, of course, they were going to give the people freedom and freedom from the czar and all. But it turned out just absolutely horrible. And these were madmen. These were psychopaths. You know, just recently, Alex, one of the things I've really been, you know, my background, you know, I taught psychology for a number of years, as well as, you know, political science and American government for 3 different universities. More recently, I've really been studying the field of psychopathy, the psychopath. And, you know, there's actually a test. Dr. Robert Hare, a Canadian psychiatrist, developed a test some years ago called the Hare inventory, where you can take a test, or you can give a person a test, even without their knowledge, and determine whether they're a psychopath. Believe me, I've been doing a lot of that lately, and we have an incredible number of psychopaths at the federal and global levels. And these people have the main characteristic of these psychopaths is they have no remorse. They have no conscience. And it's true. They don't mind feeling up a 90-year-old grandmother and terrorizing little kids at the airport. They don't mind killing 3,000 people at 9/11. We're going to have to understand something. When you're dealing with psychopaths, and they're liars. You know, I can quote one psychopath. He was interviewed. He was in prison for murder. He was asked by the interviewer, isn't it true that you have committed violent offenses? The guy said, absolutely not. Well, I did kill one man one time, but that wasn't a violent offense. So this is, you know, this is how they turn things around. They use words, the Orwellian use of words. And that's what all of our leaders are doing now. You know, I mean, after all, you read George Orwell in 1984. It's there again, and then you take the 1917 takeover of Russia by the communists, and we know that Barack Obama was planted where he's at now. That his mentor was Frank Marshall Davis, who was a member of the Communist Party USA. No doubt his grandparents were part of the communist network. And by the way, here again we get with the banking. His mother had no education at all in finance, but she ended up as vice president of the largest bank in Hawaii. His grandmother, I mean, that tells you the connections there between banking and communism. And it's amazing that capitalists would be communist, but they are. The Warburgs and the others, the Rothschilds, financed the 66 million that were slaughtered in communist Russia. So we do have that situation. You know, the Occupy folks aren't totally off base, are they, Alex?
Well, what happened is the globalists called for the demonstration just in a generic way. Good people showed up, and then the banksters came in and tried to have the Democrats take it over. That's now pretty much failed, so now they're cracking heads and shooting people with rubber bullets. But Texe, looking at this, we have a big awakening happening, but on the other side, the globalists are accelerating their operation. What do you make of the fact that Israel is openly saying they want to strike Iran? In a larger view, what is the reason for that? What is is it a political diversion for the wars? Why is this coming to a head right now?
Well, I believe one of the things we have to understand, it's not anti-Semitic to say this. You have to look at this as a geostrategic situation. And what we would call NATO or Europe, Britain and France and so forth, and Germany, that are basically our little puppets, they have combined with Israel and the United States, and it's sort of like a triad there, okay, of powers. And, of course, we have made Israel, given it 400 nuclear weapons, nuclear bombs, and all of this, and all of the missiles, even nuclear-based submarines. So Israel wants to control the Middle East, and as long as they give, the Rothschilds, British Petroleum, the Chinese, the oil that they want, everybody cooperates. Now, I mentioned there's a triumvirate, or triad, but there's Red China on the other side that's working on this. And in fact, Mao Zedong, has been cooperating with Israel for many, many years, and now his successors also have. So there are many Zionist Jews working inside of Red China today with the other elite. So there will be set up a greater Israel, supranational power of that whole area of the world, including North Africa. That's the reason for the Arab Spring. Not only the NATO bombing, but actually it turned into the United States that was giving the bulk of the bombing to the poor people of Libya. And we grabbed all the gold that Gaddafi had and stole his oil. And by the way, the Fed Reserve had lent Gaddafi's Libya bank $70 billion. Now, what did he do with that $70 billion? It's believed that he bought European sovereign debt. So the way they did it was the Fed gives Libya and Gaddafi $70 billion in a 0% loan. He props up the crooked banks of Europe and so forth.
No, he's on record making a deal with Sarkozy and Cameron and Blair before that.
Okay, so this is why they took him out, plus 144 tons reported of gold. I think that comes out to about $72 billion. But in any case, the Israeli Mossad is working with the CIA and the French intelligence and the British military intelligence. You and I know about the gigantic U.S. embassy, the largest in the world that's been built in Baghdad. So this already is going to have 17,000 employees. Now, Iraq is a nation of around 24 million people, about one-third the size of Texas. But we have the largest United States embassy in the world. It cost over $1 billion to build. And you have pictures of it. You can find them on Google. Just, Google it up and ask for the U.S. Embassy construction. And they used seemed like 100 big cranes to build it. Why would we need that there? Well, we need it to superintend, and there will be Israeli agents working with us, just like they were at Abu Ghraib in the torturing business. And there will be the British agents and so forth. So this is like the control choke point, this U.S. embassy for the whole Middle East and as well as Africa, although there will be an African command. This is really what is going on. They're building up their geostrategic New World Order. Israel is a part of it. And, of course, the Palestinian people are just, well, that's the way it goes. That's why they don't want them to be a nation, because then they might have a beef in the United Nations, so they're going to keep suppressing them, as they've been doing.
But what is Israel thinking? Because I've seen Netanyahu earlier this year get rid of the Mossad chief and others, or is that all part of theater, like all of Israel is involved in this? I mean, this is so crazy to be doing this.
Okay, let's go from the beginning. In 1948, Israel, as a Jewish nation, was founded by Ben-Gurion and the other terrorists, the Irgun gang, and so Rami Emanuel's father was a member of one of those gangs. Israel Shamir, Menachem Begin, all of those people who later became prime ministers were murderous, cutthroat terrorists. Now, they had their operations operated. You can read this in the book, The Ethnic Cleansing of Palestine, by a great Jewish historian, Elian Papi. And he notes that the very first building they set up their headquarters in Tel Aviv, which was, by the way, a city founded in 1909 by Rothschild, but it was called the Red House. Why was it called the Red House? Because they were all red communists. And these were the same people who had bludgeoned and murdered much of Eastern Europe.
By the way, Steve Pachenik, who's reportedly Jewish himself, he was on like a month ago about the Iran attack, and he was saying all this, and he was saying that people around Israel are communist and they're going to do all this, and they worked with Hitler, and it was all wild. I don't know why he was coming on air just saying all that.
Well, Christian ministry, not too long ago, I was talking with the head of it, and they were telling me that they were giving about $600,000 a year in donations to a Israeli hospital, just as a goodwill project. And I told them, I said, well, they have socialized Medicare, like Obamacare in Israel. He said, they do? I said, yes. And not only that, they have free abortions for all Israeli women. Other than Japan, Israel has the highest abortion rate in the whole world. He was shocked. He had no idea of this. But yes, it is a socialist, communist country.
Well, but again, I saw ads on Fox News for a group, and I went and looked it up, and they were doing abortions. So it's Christian to abort Jewish children? Because I guess you're anti-Semitic if you don't want to kill Jewish children.
Well, you can't, Christians, if you're a Jew and you become a Christian, you cannot immigrate to Israel. Menachem Begin actually, as prime minister, actually practiced secretly Buddhism. Buddhist Jews can immigrate to Israel, but not Christian Jews. They are prohibited by law from immigrating. So there is a prejudice and a discrimination. I'm not trying to be anti-Semitic. I wish people would check these things out. Then they will know. And this is the reason I believe they're cooperating with us in what I call the murder of the Middle East. It's to their financial benefit and so forth. That's why the pipelines that were built from Iraq go through Israel and southern Lebanon over, one of them is right at Haifa.
Well, Tex, I don't think it's anti-Semitic. It's anti-globalist communist influence. I mean, if a Russian's communist, we don't bash Russians, or if a Chinese person is. It's clearly something going on, and it's just extremely frustrating and frightening.
Yeah, Bobby Inman lives here in Austin, Texas. Admiral Bobby Inman used to be deputy director of the CIA. He was the guy that helped to catch one of the most horrible spies. In fact, he did more damage to the United States than any spy in history, a man named Jonathan Pollard. He was an American Jew born in Galveston, Texas, Jonathan Pollard, but he began to spy for the Israeli Mossad, and he got a job working in the Defense Department, and eventually he stole over 10,000 top secret and secret documents. And they told everything about where all of our missiles were, our submarines were at any time under the sea. It was a terrible thing. Now, what did he do with these 10,000 documents? First of all, he turned them over to the Israeli Mossad that sold them to Red China. Now, this was during the Cold War. Jonathan Pollard sits in the U.S. prison today. This is worse than the Rosenbergs, who gave the Soviet Union the atomic bomb back in the 50s. Jonathan Pollard. Bobby Inman, the Israeli nation wanted Jonathan Pollard to be freed, and they were demanding the United States president to give him a pardon. And Clinton was looking to do that, to please Netanyahu, and what was the guy's name, Barak, I think, who was the prime minister then. And he had already, freed Mark Rich on the last day in office or whatever, another Israeli spy and crook. And Clinton was wanting to do it, but Bobby Inman met with other, former CIA and especially military generals who were retired, and they said they would make the biggest stink in all of history if Clinton gave Jonathan Pollard a pardon. So, Clinton was too afraid to do that. He had already, given these other crooks, including drug dealers, pardons. And Netanyahu recently asked Barack Obama. Now, Jonathan Pollard will live like a multi-millionaire in luxury in Israel, even though he's an American citizen, because he did this great, wonderful deed for Israel. But so you see that listen, Alex, I think America should consider America first. Which president, I think it was George Washington in his farewell address, told us not to have these entangling alliances or these passionate attachments. It scared me to death when I found out recently that Herman Cain, his big support comes from the very rich Jewish Koch brothers in New York. Did you know they flew Herman Cain to Israel to be vetted out and interviewed? Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Mark Bloch flew to New York City, and there's a couple there. Their last name is Strober, Strober, and they're the ones that wrote the book about Herman Cain. This is Herman Cain. He didn't write it himself. This Jewish couple did. They're very, let's just say, attached to Israel. And they arranged for him and his campaign manager, this Mark Bloch, who, by the way, the campaign manager, Mark Bloch, for Herman Cain is so crooked, the Wisconsin courts forbid him for 3 years from even participating in campaigns in Wisconsin because of the crooked stuff he had done. Now he's Herman. That's why Herman Cain gets up and says, I'm a Zionist and I'll do everything Israel wants and, be their big backer and all that. I wish for once that people would just put America first. Listen, I believe Israel has a right to exist. Of course. I believe that, as a Christian, I've always loved the Bible says whosoever will may come. That means of any race, any national or ethnic group. God is no respecter of persons. But I think as Americans, we owe it to our country to put our country first. And it's only right that Jonathan Pollard stay in prison after giving 10,000 And in fact, I want to know why we're giving all this aid money to Israel when they gave 10,000 of our most classified documents that revealed our greatest military secrets to Red China.
Well, the globalists are teamed up big time with China, and it's a serious issue. Listen, Tex, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to go to a 14-minute video before Weldon Henson joins us, and then calls and more guests here with some country music during this 4th annual Infowars.com, MoneyBomb, Infowars, MoneyBomb.com. But I know you have a great newsletter that's free for folks to get a complimentary copy and a lot more. Give us your websites and give us the newsletter, Tex, and thank you for joining us.
Sure, Alex. Powerofprophecy.com, powerofprophecy.com. And I want to encourage people out there to contribute, to give, as I said, to your money bomb, because we're in a very perilous situation. And I'll tell you, you have been at the forefront. And I'm glad that I can call you my friend. Thank you so much, Alex.
Thank you, Tex. How do folks get a free copy of the newsletter?
Oh, listen, all they have to do is write us. Just write to Texe Mars, 1708 Patterson Road, Patterson Road, Austin, Texas, 78733, and say, hey, Tex, send me that free newsletter. We'll be glad to do it.
And I know I sprung it on you, but there's a number, too, during the week.
Sure. Well, you're kind to allow me to give that out. It's well, let's give them the 1-800 number. 1-800-234. Oh my goodness.
Hey, I can't remember my number half the time.
9673. Yeah, I
say it again. You got to say it fast.
1-800-234-9673.
I'm the same way. I got to say a number faster. I forget it. Say it again.
1-800-234-9673, and simply say, hey, I'd like that newsletter. We won't ask them to buy one thing. They don't have to worry about any solicitation or anything else. We'll be glad to send it to them.
Well, it's really great information, and we all need to look at every angle of this situation, all the different mafias that are out there. Texe Mars, God bless you. Thanks for spending time with us.
Hey, God bless you, Alex. We'll talk to you again.
Say hi to Wanda for me.
Hey, I'll do it. All right. God bless you.
Thank you. There goes Texe Mars. I was reading this stuff 20 years ago. Okay. We've got a bunch of other guests coming up. What an incredible transmission. Joel Skousen, Webster Tarpley, Dr. Katherine Albrecht, George Noory, David Icke, Mike Adams. He had a bunch of guests on. Alfred Adask, Texe Mars. We got Corbett of the Corbett Report coming up. Fritz Springmeier, Dykes, Watson, Reeves, Gerald Celente, Watt, Jim Mars, Bob Chapman, and others. And my little phone has been ringing a lot. Jesse Ventura has called. Others have called. The feds have ruled against him. He doesn't get his day in court. Pot-bellied perverts get to grab his genitals. Jesse told me, he said, when I have a press conference, you'll be the first to get the first interview. And so he called me to say, okay, I've had the AP call me. Alex, I've had the AP call me and others. I told him no comment. The press conference is at noon tomorrow. And then I guess his wife wasn't there, so we were debating what her cell phone number was. So he's going to call my cell tomorrow. He's got the hotline. And he was like, I tried to call it, and it's busy because Tex was on. And then before that, another guest. So Ventura with breaking news tomorrow. Well, tomorrow, I mean, it's an hour away. We're almost 11 o'clock, a minute from 11 o'clock. I'll be here nonstop. I mean, I'm here. This is a new system. I should broadcast 27 hours every day. There's 27 hours in a day now. Weldon Henson's coming in. We got this little video that Darren McBreen had the idea to talk to the staff of Infowars.com. Talk to the crew. People like Weldon Henson should come in and play some songs in a moment. If you believe in what we're doing, if you believe in the full spectrum analysis, all the angles being covered, you name it, no rock left unturned, every perspective, and really defending basic liberty and freedom, then donate now at InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com. We got the crew in there taking your calls, 888-253-3139, 888-253-3139. We got loaded phone lines. We'll take your calls as well. And so that's a nice document cam shot there. I don't know what oh, look, I can't even see you guys. See, you guys think I can see you through there? And was that actually on air? I'll tell you a famous story. Chris called down to the local barbecue place and asked for a cheeseburger, and the lady said, don't make me cook. And so now it's an ongoing joke around here about, He asked for a cheeseburger, and she said, "Don't make me cook." So he's in there doing that over my earpiece here. Anyways, there's several permutations that don't make me cook around here. But Weldon Henson's coming in. Here's Darren McBreen, our great reporter and video editor. Here's his report with the crew. A lot of the crew never before seen. Very exciting. And we're going to come back with Weldon Henson playing his guitar. What a talented act. He plays at all the big places around here in Austin. Yeah, he plays at the Broken Spoke, where George Strait got a start, along with Willie Nelson. He plays at the Continental Club. He plays everywhere, but he got all his talent from EB. A little inside joke here. Anyways, hey, Weldon, what's your website so I can give it out for folks? WeldonHenson.com. And if that ain't Al-Qaeda, I don't know what is. All right, we're going to go to this video piece by Darren McBreen with the crew around the office and what the info war means to them. And then I'm going to come back with Weldon Henson, your phone calls, and a lot more. It's InfoWars MoneyBomb 2011. Stay with us, partner.
All right, well, welcome to the Texas Central Command Center, deep behind enemy lines. Aaron Dykes is with me. He just got through doing the nightly news. And I just want to talk to you for a couple moments about, well, I guess the difference between this sort of broadcast compared to your typical mainstream media news outlet.
Well, I've been working here at InfoWars for more than 5.5 years, and it's really the simple difference of, as in 1984, being able to admit 2 + 2 is 4, whereas the mainstream media looks at things through a certain prism, through the way it's scripted, and they have to analyze things within that boat. Here, we're able to essentially think freely, try to figure out what's going on, and we also are able to have, the fortitude to say 9/11's an inside job, to say what's really going on behind events as we see them, and not have to regurgitate government talking points, not have to pretend that things are a way that they're not. We're really revolutionary in the sense that we're trying to get back to the Constitution that's been totally abandoned. And as you people know from following Alex, it's an operation that's grown over the years. I never meant to be on the news, for instance, but here I am doing the nightly news. I've been doing a lot of research, brought a lot of eugenics stuff to the material. My mind has been awakened just from working here and sort of freely researching while doing all the daily tasks, and that's one of the main things I love about working with Alex and this great operation here.
How important is it to get this message out right now?
Well, it's essential because things are coming to a head. Tonight we just covered the continuing crackdown on ordinary people placed under suspicion until they're proven not guilty. That is what supposed law enforcement has come to represent. Everything is turned on its head in an Alice in Wonderland style way, and we of course just have to get back to the Constitution and the common sense of trying to be independent, trying to lead normal lives. I mean, they're banning vegetables and vitamins and all the rest of it, while pushing big pharma cancer cures and GMOs that could taint the whole earth. I mean, we're in a desperate situation here. We know the agenda of the globalists, and it's really true. They're out for our entire lives. So it now has to be the time for us to fight back, because if not now, we may not have a second chance.
Well said. What's it like to work with Alex Jones?
Well, it's incredible. I mean, Alex is a mind behind the scenes, on camera, and everything. And he's really allowed us a place to grow and develop our own minds and try to search for the truth, something I feel like I've always been trying to do in my own way. But it's really become focused here at InfoWars, and it's a great thing for it.
Alex is a real character. And, I think a lot of people out there have a feeling about Alex from hearing him on the air that if they met him in person that he might be mad at them. But Alex is mad at the New World Order for you. He's not mad at you. And what you learn when you work here and you're around Alex enough is that he's one of the kindest, funniest people you're ever going to meet.
Look at the evil. I mean,
there it is.
Everywhere this is decried. Republicans, Democrats, mainline media, they hate it. Here's some pizza, here's some money.
He's the nice guy. He's
like,
guy.
Let me come here. Let me tell you. It's like, get out of here right now,
Yeah, exactly. But here's some pizza. Here's a little.
You can do that to me too if you want. Get out of here. Get out of here.
You're a good guy.
Let me tell you, you know, we don't want you to be in the river.
So, here we are in Lord Jacobson's office. This is Rob Jacobson.
Hey.
What was your role in the Obama deception? I know you've done a lot of production work here. You've got the coolest office in the place, in my opinion. But tell us what you do.
I'm the editor, basically. I edited a bunch of the DVDs. All the primary DVDs that Alex released in the last 4 or 5 years, including Obama Deception.
Which is, yeah, some of your best work. Tell us what it means to be an info warrior, why you love this job, why this job, you know, everybody I talk to, this job has a purpose.
Yeah, it's more than just a job. You know, it's exciting to be able to do the work that I do to begin with, you know, but to be doing it here, knowing that it gets out to millions of viewers and it breaks the ice for a lot of other viewers who's never seen this information before is a lot more rewarding than, let's say, editing a typical Hollywood film or a typical TV show, which really has meaningless and useless results and is meant to waste people's time. This is the exact opposite, I feel. It's not just, it's empowering people when they use their time to watch these videos, and it's rewarding to know that my work is contributing to basically, you know, opening up people's minds and changing the paradigm.
Because there's a war on for your mind.
There is. There is a war on for your mind.
All right, man. Well, keep up with the good work. Always a pleasure.
I'm the graphics coordinator of the Nightly News Show. And the MoneyBomb last year helped launch the Nightly News program and essentially helped bring me in. I used to have to slave all day long at a job that I hated, doing stuff I didn't believe in, and I'd have to reserve my subversive talk for later around my friends, who were usually too drunk to retain anything I told them. And this job opportunity produced the opportunity for me to marriage my subversive talk with my daily job activities, and now I get to speak my mind all day long and talk about stuff I believe in and use my powers for good.
So what is your title?
I am Lord Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, that wasn't on your business card, but so...
It will be. It will be.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You're also the voice of Edward Bernays.
I am the voice of Edward Bernays.
We're here with Matt, the online store manager for the Info Warriors, and he's going to show us some of the products that we have on display for the MoneyBomb. And what is, look at this.
Yeah, throughout the year we get a bunch of different things people send in. This is a board game by www.bankstersbanquet.com. They sent it in to us. It's kind of like a Monopoly game, board game. And then Alex went in here when he was back here in the warehouse, signed it, did a little extra artwork on it. You know, some devil horns and mustaches. So we're going to put the whole variety of items like this up on our eBay store. And we also have, Alex took some time, signed a bunch of his own DVDs, so we'll be putting those up on both our regular store and on eBay for some auction items. So that's a great way to support the Infowars.
All right. Tell us about this.
This is our Piece de Resistance. This was used by Alex a couple years ago with the Fall of the Republic DVD release. Did a promotional video, and this is back when we were first expanding the warehouse area and just actually took out the wall just next door to us here. So you can go online and see the video of him just pounding it down. It's got a good Infowars sticker and signed by Alex.
Hey, let's get a close-up of that one right there. You got Alex's signature. And then the Don't Tread on Me sticker up here, which has been through some battle action.
There's also some Infowars drywall on this too. So this is battle tested by Alex.
Let's move on to some of the T-shirts that are selling well right now. This is a new one I haven't seen.
Yeah, we've been real busy adding a lot of new products to get the word out. This is just got it in this week. Ideas are bulletproof. We the people. It kind of combines that popular quote of ideas are bulletproof with possibly the most bulletproof ideas there are, the ideas in our Constitution.
Sure.
And our other new shirt that's been just going off the shelves.
G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe Infowars, because knowing is half the battle. That really sums up Infowars. Got to get the information out.
How important are these T-shirts? Don't they spark up conversation, am I right?
Absolutely. I cannot go to the grocery store. I cannot go to a convenience store. I'm driving down the road and I get thumbs up about my shirts. I wear my shirts 7 days a week to be walking advertisement for Infowars.com. I think it is very important that people at least dip into the website just to kind of get a little perspective on the truth, because they don't realize that they're being brainwashed and lied to. So these shirts are very, very important as far as advertisement goes. They're very catchy to the eye. People tend to look at them and gravitate towards them. I get asked questions, you know.
Yeah, so you could be like in a bank or in the grocery store, and you get complete strangers that will ask you questions about the
Absolutely.
t-shirts. Yeah.
Absolutely. They'll ask me, what is Infowars? What does that your shirt mean? You know, what is Big Brother? You know, there's people out there that are just totally clueless to what's really going on. And so these shirts are a really good way to advertise the truth. You know, so I make it a point to wear an Infowars shirt 7 days a week.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to educate the masses. So what does it mean to be an info warrior and doing what you do?
You know, really, I think the best way to sum it up is to go over past work experiences. Even in the most professional work environments, there's always people that slough off and kind of don't take the utmost care and responsibility with the way that they conduct themselves. But you don't find that anywhere here, because every day, no matter if someone's tired, look at how tirelessly Alex works. You know, no matter what the circumstances are, when they come into this office, when they come through those doors, they have a mission that they believe supersedes their own personal well-being, and that kind of drive makes such a cohesiveness in the office that it's really an amazing thing to watch. It's completely changed. I will never do anything else for the rest of my life. It has completely changed my idea of what it means to have a meaningful work.
I'm here with Rob Dew. He's a director for the Infowars Nightly News. And tell us a little bit about the process of getting this message out to the audience. What goes into it and how is it done?
Well, if you've been watching lately, you can see that the quickening is happening. The news stories come out every day, and more insane world news and news that affects our freedoms it continually comes out. It pours out. So what we do, we look at Infowars.com, see what's being posted from our writers. We look at Drudge Report. We look at our tips. People send us in a lot of good tips. You can send those to robd@Infowars.com. And so we put all this together and we look at what do we want to show. And we want to show as much as we can. That's why we can't produce a 30-minute show. We just keep producing an hour and 10 minutes because there's just so much news. So we go through that. We split up the stories. You know, people take their own stories. They grab the videos off YouTube, make the full screens, make the little graphics, which we call the OTS, that fits over top of Alex while he's talking about it. And then we dump those out. Race to do it all day long, because creating graphics in an HD format takes a lot longer, you know, than the old days when I used to do them for mini DV. And so we get it.
Fight with the machines.
Well,
Fighting the machines.
I want to be kind of nice to the machines, but they are slow. We've tried to get cards to make these things move faster. They don't really move fast. So we end up watching a lot of render bars and a lot of export bars. Mm-hmm. We finally get all the stuff together. We get it over here. We get it in order. We talk with Alex, make sure he's happy with it, ready to go with it. Usually we do the guest interview first. We'll pre-record that. And then the news, sometimes we do it live. Sometimes we pre-record it if we have the time.
Sometimes we do both.
Sometimes we do both, and then you know, and then we do the show and get it out to the people. And you know, we've really been working hard, trying to get a lot of different systems together, working together. So when Alex is talking, it doesn't look like a bad kung fu movie. And you know, so it's been a lot of fun. It's been a long 2 months, I'll tell you that. And I definitely feel the 2 months, and we've only done 2 months, and I can't believe it. So we're looking forward to keep bringing it to the people, the news that's uncensored, that is from a perspective of freedom and liberty, not from a perspective of control and being a sheep. And you know, we're going to keep doing it. Hopefully we can expand with this MoneyBomb. That's why we really need your support. So go to InfowarsMoneyBomb.com and you know, donate what you can. This is your news channel, essentially. It is what you guys make of it, and we're happy to have everybody supporting it. And please spread the word about it.
Kentucky. Oh, that's right. I love this song. Unconscious sorrow fills his days. All right, well, I'm not going to torture you this year with me singing, which was Weldon's horrible idea last year. By the way, we're auctioning off Tyranny Crusher 2. This has actually been in use about 5 years. It was a backup bullhorn. Weldon, is this annoying you? This was the backup bullhorn right here. And the other one that got attacked by the MSNBC people that people bid for $50,000. Tyranny Crusher 2 is selling right now on eBay. You can find the link to it at InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com or Infowars.com. Has a link to it as well. And again, the establishment doesn't like us doing fundraisers, so we do them. I mean, we got video sales, sponsors, everything we do, subscriptions to PrisonPlanet.tv. We got a 15-day free trial going right now. The video feeds are all free out there. We're very honored that literally hundreds of thousands of people via audio links, video links, Justin TV, our stream, are watching this right now. But, you know, I forgot this year to ask Weldon Henson, who's worked here about 4 or 5 years, got out of the Air Force, and one of my producers I had, he was friends with him, so we got Weldon in here. He really got our shipping department in great shape, along with Tim Frugier. I hired right around the same time. And Weldon is an amazing guitar player, but also an amazing singer. I mean, he's packing houses at all the big shows here around Austin and going around the country. He's gone to Europe and played. And Weldon Henston, you can tell I've been on the air since 11 a.m., ladies and gentlemen, and imagine there's a lot more. Weldon Henston joins us. Weldon Henson, One Heart's Gone is his newest album. Weldon, tell us about some of your other albums.
Well, the other ones, this is my third one here, and I think this one here is my best one of all, but the other ones, you've heard the other two.
Weldon Henston Band.
The Henston. Maybe that's the trick. Maybe that's what I need to change it up a little bit.
Weldon Henson.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, what about Weldon was the last name of the IndyCar guy that died?
Yeah, with an H. Yeah, but
you were a fan of that guy, of the whole thing. You like race car driving?
Yeah, I'm into all sorts of racing, NASCAR especially. But yeah, I watch IndyCar too. Yeah, that was tragic, man. That sucked, man.
But my babbling, mindless monkey point that I was going to make after I've been on air all these hours is that I forgot to ask you to come play tonight. You had a show tonight. You just played it. You just got here in time for us. Weldon Henson. Give us the website.
It's WeldonHenson.com. Simple as that.
And it's better this year than I not sing. That was very embarrassing.
I thought it was great, man. It was fun.
Well, like hearing a hound dog howl. But Weldon Henson, and again, this new album available. It's available on the web, but people can also buy the DVD at your website?
Website, you can get it on the website or iTunes as well, and Amazon, so all the major marketplaces.
And by the way, I mean, I wasn't just talking you up. Since you started out getting out of the Air Force, working for us and launching your band, I mean, you're playing all the big main #1 gigs here in Austin.
Hey, it's a lot of fun. You know, Austin is home now, and Austin's also a great place to play music, and especially to play good country music, you know what I mean? And it has a great response, a great audience, and all the clubs are fabulous, and we love it here. And
you're married now?
Yeah, that's the new thing this year, right?
When'd you get married?
Back in April.
Yeah, well, your wife's great.
Oh, she's the best girl in the world, no doubt about it.
Can't beat it, Weldon. All right, enough of my babble. Before we get to your songs, and again, I called you in here. I appreciate you coming in, you know, after you'd already been out working tonight and working here all day. What is your view of Infowars.com? And I want your honest response, because I didn't talk to you beforehand. I didn't tell you I was going to do this. What is your view of this operation and what we cover?
Well, when I first started working here, Infowars.com, I didn't really know much about it. I had I'd watched one DVD of yours. It seemed we were kind of small time when I first started here, Alex. I mean, I came in here and it seemed like things were just really small. We were in that small place.
5-6 people.
5-6 people. I mean, it looks like orders weren't going out, but you know, but there was a hardcore small audience.
That's why I hired you, was to get it in gear, get it going.
And man, talk about the growth. And just what these money bombs are for. I know this is the fourth one we've had, and I've been here for every one of them. And let me tell the audience, every one of these money bombs has launched us to a new level. I mean, we went from a little bitty place, almost maybe 3 times the size of this little studio we're in, the room we're in here, to substantially larger, you know, and some more departments. The marketing has grown. The warehouse has grown. I mean, the products have grown. We got the TV thing going now, and every year it's just been a step. I mean, it's grown so much. My view of Infowars is that we're going all the way. We're going to get the word out, and everyone here is pumped up about it. And I know there's tons of people out there. I meet people everywhere I go, Alex. I play shows, and everyone. I don't bring up where I work during the day, but I hear people talking about it, and then every now and then I'll tell them, they're like, "Wow, that's awesome," and they want to talk about it, and everybody wants to talk about what's going on in the world. People.
Well, that's an illustration of the huge effect we're having, and it's so exciting, and it just shows how when you put your passion into something, it ends up having an effect. Now, briefly, you got out of the Air Force 5 years ago, came to work with us. You've done an incredible job, helped turn around so much of what we've done, Weldon. I mean, you're just a prize to be at this office, and, you know, on top of what you do at night, you know, playing guitar and singing, and you're about to get that in a moment. But expanding on that, you were telling me, and I went and looked this up, it was true, about all your buddies that are still in the Air Force. They're all moving over to drones. You were the guy fixing the F-16s, loading missiles on them. Now all those guys are learning how to fly drones.
Yeah, there's a huge career field, I guess, opening up for unmanned drones. I was just telling Alex that the other day. I got a couple friends that have moved over that, you know, they're still in. A lot of my buddies, we've all gotten out. Some for good reason, some for, you know, bad. But, yeah, no, there's just a lot of unmanned drones, people out there going into that career field.
It's pretty creepy.
Yeah, you know, I hear a lot of things too, you know, and sometimes you really want to get down and you want to tell your buddies what's going on, and you do to some of them, and then some of you just know. You're just like, oh, man, I wish I had more time to really explain to you what's going on, but, you know, it's one of those deals, you know, you hope you can, and you hope people figure it out, and you try to help them figure out what's going on. And but it just reiterates a lot of things that are being said here. You really get in touch and you talk to people around the world and people that are in the military, and they know what's, you know, and you can figure out what's really going on.
Well, Weldon, I see your success growing up with our success, reaching people, and the great lyrics and the great music you produce. I mean, I wouldn't even have you on here if I didn't think it was great and I wasn't a fan. And I told you that 4 years ago, and now you've had huge success, been to Europe, been all over, huge crowds packing every place you go. People need to find out more about Weldon Henson and your band and all the great folks you've got involved in that. Again, give folks, spell it out for people. What is it, WeldonHenson.com?
WeldonHenson.com, yeah, just like it sounds.
WeldonHenson.com, WeldonHenson.com. Now, I always love sitting around here at night with you playing Willie Nelson tunes, playing Johnny Cash, playing Merle Haggard tunes. Waylon Jennings is your favorite, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But it's great to have Shooter on the show. But you're going to play a few tracks off some of your records, and then you're going to play some surprises for us, 2 or 3 songs, 4 or 5 songs. If I have my way, 50 songs. Then we're going to come back and go to your phone calls and get to the next guest that's coming up. We're going to be talking to Mr. Corbett of the Corbett Report. But what are you going to play first, Weldon?
I'm actually going to do the title track off this newest CD, and I know there's some radio stations around Texas have been playing it. And I want
That's One Heart's Gone.
That's right. That's right. Everyone's looking, but it's all the same. I love a little one, but who's to blame? And any one man knows a long, hard road, 'cause any woman, she can tell you so. Without a love, it's a mystery. Truth and hurt are one it seems. Play the game, you pay the price. One heart's gone and just one love dies. You know, true, it answers to no one. I've asked myself 1,000 times, so you might say, at the feelings they reach down inside you, send you down a road that's seldom seen. But without a love, it's just a mystery. Truth and hurt are one, it seems. Play the game, you pay the price. One heart's gone and just one love dies. Sit around sometimes, baby, and I'm missing you. I think about the way things that could have been, 'cause the way it was so special. Just somehow it didn't work out in the end, no. Without love, it's just a mystery. Truth and hurt are one, it seems. To play the game, you pay the price. One heart's gone and just one love dies. Yeah, yeah. Well, one love dies. Oh. Well, one love. Yeah, yeah. Oh. Yeah, title track there off the newest record there. One Heart's Gone.
Weldon, you have got an electro voice microphone. That's it. Normally, even with acoustic, they've had 3 or 4 mics. That was awesome. I mean, you are so talented with one damn microphone. That is powerful music. Now,
It's a good microphone.
Now, again, what I like about your music, because I'm a big country music fan, I like country and western. I like it all, as they say in the Blues Brothers, is that kind of sounds Randy Travis type, but even better. But then you've kind of got some other influences. What are the main influences on your music?
Well, the first thing I tell people is, it's a heavily roots influenced traditional country sound with what I call a modern approach to it. I got to have my own little artistic twist to it there. But my influences have probably come a lot from Merle Haggard is number one. Gary Stewart I'm a huge fan of his, and I know a lot of folks around here in Texas know who Gary Stewart is. And other than that, Waylon Jennings and Dwight Yoakam also as well. Big time Dwight fan. So,
what's amazing is you can sound like all those guys, but not like a copy. You add something to it. I've heard you do songs that sound like Dwight Yoakam. Love him. Love Merle Haggard. Love Waylon Jennings. I mean, love it all.
Yeah.
I mean, you can really do it all. I mean,
Well, that's what we do, too. If you come out and see us live, I got a really good band right now, and that's some of the covers we like to do is a lot of those type guys, but we do it our own kind of way, We put our own original feel to it.
No, exactly. You're not just copying somebody. It's not like a cover band. It's got a twist to it. Okay, you're going to play one more of yours, and then who knows what the surprise is, somebody else's. Or you can play 4 or 5 if you want, Weldon. What's coming up next?
Well, I wanted to do a Merle Haggard song for you, because I know Alex is a big fan of what I call real country music.
Quit going down hell like a snowball headed for hell.
Last year we had Alex singing a good Merle
Total
song.
torture. Yeah.
Well, I thought it was
Quit going downhill like a snowball headed for hell.
But but I know Alex is a big fan of what I call real country, and that's Merle Haggard, if you had to ask me. And so Jaron was actually singing this before I came in here, so I got to play it for him as well. First thing I remember, was a lonesome whistle blowing and a younger's dream of growing up to ride on a freight train leaving town, not knowing where I'm bound. No one changed my mind, but Mama tried. One and only rebel child from a family meek and mild. Well, my mama seemed to know what lay in store. Despite all my son did learn, from the bad I kept on turning till Mama, she couldn't hold me anymore. And I turned 21 in prison, doing life without parole. Well, no one could steer me right, but Mama tried, Mama tried, Mama tried to raise me better. Plenty night and night, that leaves only me to blame, 'cause Mama tried. Dear old daddy, rest his soul, left my mom heavy load. She tried so very hard just to fill his shoes, working hours without rest, wanted me to have the best. She tried to raise me right, but I refused. And I turned 21 in prison, doing life without parole. Well, no one could steer me right, but Mama tried, Mama tried, Mama tried to raise me better. Plenty night to night, that leaves only me to blame, 'cause Mama tried. And that leaves only me to blame, 'cause Mama tried.
I'm liking that. God almighty, Weldon, you got... Listen, I happen to know a little about sound. You got one microphone in here, an electro voice. You didn't even aim it down at your guitar, and it sounds like a studio recording. And I tell you, the folks are getting some real Texas country here right now.
Yeah, something like that.
All right, you got one more of yours, right? You want to play another one? Another somebody else's or one of yours?
Yeah, I want to do some of the stuff you like. I know you like Johnny Cash and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but whenever you want, man. It's good. It's good to have you.
I'll tell you what, I'll do one of the most honky-tonk sounding things I got on the new record. It's a song called I'm Still Here.
Because, by the way, you know I'm not a BSer. You've been around here. You know I'm not a BSer. Give me an honest thing. Am I a BSer?
No, Alex is pretty upfront.
Let me tell you, I get so addicted to stuff I grew up as a kid, driving around with family and stuff, that I love old stuff. You know, you grow up with something when you're a kid, you like it. This is one of the few, all 3 of your records, I put them in my car, I listen to them, I like every new track. I mean, you really are talented, Weldon. You're kicking ass here. Well, so I want to hear you sing some oldie goodie, but I also like to hear your new stuff.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to do one off that one then. You know, that one I did earlier was kind of had a little more modern sound to it, and this one here is one that is probably the most traditional, good little two-stepping sounding song on the new record. And of course, it's your typical old country sounding thing too. It's kind of sad, but a little song called I'm Still Here. It's ran its course, that's what you said. 'Cause I'm not the man I was the day we met. And we both decided to play in love's game. But I can tell by the score that it's me losing again. But I'm still here. Yes, I'm still holding on. I'm still me. No matter if you think the man I once was is gone. And here we lay together now, so close, but it seems I'm still here. But it's clear that you're not here with me. The nights seem longer, the days the same. Each time we try to talk, you just walk away. And I'd give anything just to read your mind. So I guess when you decide it's time, you'll leave our love to die. But I'm still here. Yes, I'm still holding on. And I'm still me. No matter if you think the man I once was is gone. And here we lay together now, so close, but it seems I'm still here. But it's clear that you're not here with me. I'm still here, but it's clear that you're not here with me.
Man, Weldon, you were awesome.
Oh, yeah, there it is. That's new stuff there.
That is some good stuff, brother.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You want to do one more, or are you done?
Do one more. I got a surprise for you here.
All right, hit it.
I want to be crazy, crazy like Alex Jones.
Oh, man.
And have enough gumption without a presumption to know what's going on. Then I can throw bananas at the global clowns and hear aristocratic moans. I want to be crazy, crazy like Alex Jones. I went looking one day on the internet just to see what I could find. When I heard this talk show maniac, he was proudly speaking his mind. It was real wild, but the more I heard, it made a whole lot of sense to me. I want to thank you, Alex, for opening my eyes and helping the blind to see. I want to be crazy, crazy like Alex Jones. And have enough gumption without a presumption to know what's going on. And I can throw bananas at the global clowns and hear aristocratic moans. I want to be crazy, crazy like Alex Jones. All the talking heads on the TV screen with an arrogant sophistication, talking about what's going on around the world and here in the nation. They all seem to turn like a pack of wolves when Alex goes on the air. In spite of the facts, they launch their attacks, and I don't think it's fair, huh? I want to be crazy, crazy like Alex Jones. Yeah, to have enough gumption without a presumption to know what's going on. And I can throw bananas at the global clowns and hear aristocratic moans. I want to be crazy, crazy like Alex Jones. I want to be crazy, crazy like Alex Jones.
Wow. I mean, that is insane.
I didn't write that, by the way. That's one of your listeners.
Yeah. Well, I forget his name. We played that earlier.
Yeah, he played it earlier.
That's a big YouTube hit. Man, Weldon, you were awesome.
You said I was coming on there about an hour ago, and I said, you know what? I want to do that song for Alex right now.
And you wrote that out. I want you to have that piece of paper. No, Weldon, thank you. Because I forgot to even try to get you here. And then I'm like, well, let's get Weldon to do a song. Well, he's doing a event. You went and did a whole a concert. Then you came over here, and then I guess you wrote that YouTube song down and did it.
It's about 30 minutes ago. No, I had to do it for you, man. We all love you. Everybody does. And we hope everybody can step up and let's get this thing rolling.
Absolutely. Weldon,
Resistance, baby.
You were awesome. And I got to bring my wife out when I get a babysitter finally and to go to one of your shows.
Be fun.
Weldon, you're awesome.
Thank you, Alex.
Thanks for everything, man.
Take care.
Wow, that was fun. That was great hearing Weldon Henson do Crazy Like Alex Jones. Because let's face it, folks, I'm crazier than the you-know-what house rat. Never heard that saying there, have you? Chris, you ever heard that saying, crazy as a you-know-what house rat? You ever heard that saying? You ever heard as crazy as a you-know-what house rat? I've gone completely insane. Dude, I'm living in a twilight zone. I've had phone calls tonight you wouldn't believe from people you wouldn't believe. I mean, Jesse Ventura, yeah, that happened, but I've had a bunch of other stuff happen. And I'm like, why me? Why me? Why are we here? Why are we doing this? We're doing this to raise $500,000. And you know what? At the end of the day, if we don't raise $500,000, we've never raised that much anyways with the Money Bomb, we'll be okay. But why not dare to do it? Why not be able to hire 5 or 6 new people to really supercharge the radio show and the news show? Why not be able to buy that equipment we need? Yeah, we can cut things back and stay the same size or maybe cut or maybe grow. But this whole world is built on people giving to globalist con artist operations. And again, I wasn't going to have a money bomb this year. But all these people were attacking me preemptively about it, saying I shouldn't. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I do need these crew members. God, that's an ugly creature. Look at that. The point is that camera is like demonic. Every time we look at that, it looks like some kind of demonic. Look at that. Look at me in that shot versus these shots. Not that I care. That just is not me. I'm going to smash that camera right now. I've been on the air too long, ladies and gentlemen. The point is, at the end of the day, I don't give a holy goblin, you know what. All I know is I want to hire a couple of reporters, some more video editors, some researchers. That's a good $300,000. I want to a year, and then everybody becomes like my friends. And I want to keep keeping them hired. And then I want to buy a bunch of this equipment we got to get. And we can probably still get that equipment. I've just got to then not do other projects, like giving bumper stickers away at cost or selling videos at cost. Or every day the sales guys come in, they go, okay, here's your 3 or 4 plugs for the day. This will make $2,000, and I don't do it because I'm too busy ranting insanely. I mean, to be honest, these money bombs basically come down to me not doing the sponsorship like I'm supposed to. I mean, if you want to get honest. So I will tell you right now, I do not want guilt when I eat a dinner or buy gas or give a crew member a bonus or something, because this is all about mission. If you don't have a bunch of money, I do not want your donation, okay? Do not want it. Don't give it. And, of course, it's always people that have nothing that want to give something. That's because their souls are good. If you are middle class or wealthy and you like what you see here and you want to see better equipment, better information, more crew, everything, then donate to InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com or call 888-253-3139. I mean, holy mackerel, we got some great folks back there that are answering the phones, taking your calls, taking your donations, and I'm just humbled by everybody supporting us. I can never get over myself on internet TV. No, I've been on national TV, everything else. This is a ridiculous spectacle. I mean, doesn't everybody know the government putting up street lights with microphones and cameras wrong? I mean, you need me to tell you this is wrong? Look, I know you don't need me to tell you this is wrong. You know it's wrong. But we're here to put out this signal so you can copy the videos and the show and the website and give it to people. I got it. Okay? I mean, I'm like a damn toilet attendant or something. I mean, this should not be hard to figure out. I don't like to fail, though. You know, our biggest money bomb has been $437,000, which sounds like a lot. It's nothing. When you've got all these crew members and all this bandwidth and all these systems. But every dollar you give us goes to the fight. Because, you know, I sell videos or have sponsors. I keep some of that money for me. But whenever I have a money bomb, 100% of it, I mean, I budget it, I put it in a bank account, and it all goes to cameras and equipment and crew member. And we've got such a platform built here that it's quite frankly scary what we can do in the next few years. It's amazing. So, again, I want to say I love you, your sweethearts. Those of you that have given to this money bomb and given to other money bombs, and those of you that are just watching the video streams on the web, all of you. I mean, it's just incredible to see what you're doing. We've got Mr. Corbett of the Corbett Report coming up. Then we have Fritz Springmeier, my God, out of prison, political prisoner, that's coming up. Aaron Dykes, Paul Watson, Richard Reeves, Gerald Celente, Alan Watt, Jim Mars, Bob Chapman, and the Keebler Elves, and the Garden Gnome. They are all coming up this evening. And I have been on air since 11 a.m., which is not that long. I've only been on air 12 hours and 46 minutes. I want to get technical. And, well, for an hour or two, I wasn't on air. I had this idea. I said, I'm going to watercolor. I'm going to acrylic. I'm going to do all of this. And I got back there in my conference room, and I'm like, painting is fun. I mean, this thing to do advertisements on the eBay account with a bullhorn and stuff, I'm like, this is not fun. And so I didn't get very much. I got a couple paintings done, and we'll see what happens with that, but I just can't do it. Hell, I may just go back to that original pen and ink and auction that sucker off. Not that I even... It's kind of like raising the capital to run this operation. It's like at the gas station. You just shove the thing in, pay the money, and pump the gas into the deal. But it is the funding of this operation that makes this possible at the end of the day. Now, what I want to do, because we've got Mr. Corbett coming up in about 15 minutes, is we've got a few of these Darren McBreen reports we haven't aired. An example of what we're doing with the nightly news. And then we've got, here on top of that, we've got a bunch of actual reports I did on the nightly news we've launched thanks to all of your support and help. So what should we air first? Alex Jones' talker speech? That takes 30 minutes. We can't do that. Alex Jones on the royal wedding. That's a real classic. That's only 8 minutes long. Maybe we should queue up Alex Jones on the royal flatulence, and then we'll come back talking about the hereditary Transylvanian vampires, and then we'll go to Mr. Corbett of the Corbett Report joining us from Japan. Hey, if you want to see even more power-packed attacks on the globalists, donate. Spread the word about the show. Buy my DVDs or get a free copy. Make copies of it. Get it out. Air it on Access TV. It's having a big effect. At the end of the day, my problem is these globalists are such worms. You know, when I was actually 15 years ago, still a little concerned about them, and when I actually cared a little bit and actually worried about my life, things were much funner. I mean, I'll be honest with you now. I mean, I just don't even give a damn. These people are literally 1-inch maggots. And as far as I'm concerned, as soon as you wake up, we're going to kick the living hell out of them. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm just waiting for humanity to wake up and come in for the big win. I mean, this is really a joke to me that a bunch of mental midget pygmy pieces of crap are taking control of our society and gang raping us. I've quite frankly had enough of it. So maybe I should just sit back in this position for the rest of the evening, because all I know is... What's that? Sounds good like this? The crew kind of likes this. Hey, I can start doing the radio show this way. Let me tell you something, New World Order trash. I feel like I'm singing that rap. Hey, baby, how you doing down there right now? Yeah, you know I hadn't had any sleep. You know, my problem is usually I go to bed. I go to bed at like midnight, wake up at 7 a.m., 6 a.m., perfect sleep. Last night I had no sleep. And I woke up about 4 a.m. Oh, yeah. About 7, I tried to go back to sleep, but it didn't work. And then I was thinking about Janet Napolitano, a planet ruled by a demonic goblin dwarf, a literal bucket of rat droppings. And then I realized I was crazy like Alex Jones. I mean, so damn crazy, Jesse Ventura's calling me up during the breaks, you know what I mean? I mean, that's pretty damn crazy when you actually believe that's happening, and it's not. Of course, it is happening. And Dave Mustaine's calling you up, you know, and then Charlie Sheen calls up. I mean, at that point, it gets really damn weird. I think I should take a break about this point right now. What about this new microphone system? If I do like this, it looks very commanding. I mean, you know, honestly, I wish that other people stepped to the plate and there was some person better than me. Because let me tell you, looking down on Alex Jones, this is one pathetic piece of garbage. But, I mean, compared to everybody else resisting, I'm king of the hill. So, all of you out there that think you can do a better job than me, step up right now, because you know what? I'm tired of it. The crown is heavy, as they say. And I ask you now, instead of infighting with each other and all the COINTELPRO crap, show me what you can do. Build an operation. Build a TV show. Build a radio show. Reach millions of people a day. Start doing it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. I am ready to put my full support behind you in your Valhalic efforts. Oh, yeah. Anyways, like I said, InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com or 888-253-3139, 888-253-3139, because we're doing a money bomb because the trolls don't like it. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. We are going to build. We're going to excel. We're going to kick New World Order hind end everywhere we find it. Victory, 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 victory. The problem is we're this unknown country. We're this unknown quantity. We're this rarity of anybody that's willing to, like, pot-bellied control freak trottles over in a black uniform. Tell them to go to hell and they're a piece of scum. I mean, it's not hard. Stop bowing down to every form of degenerate piece of filth you see out there. Stop being a worm. Stop being a slime ball. Stop being a servant of tyranny. Doesn't mean we're all perfect. Doesn't mean we don't, you know, lose or win every day. Just take action against scumbags. It's really easy. You're ready with the video, but just a second, you're ready with the video. What is, we're ready with the video. Just a second, we're ready with the video. Just. You want it, ladies and gentlemen, you've got it. Hardcore resistance to tyranny. Blood-pumping, nuclear-powered brain damage. Infowars.com.
The big news out of London Crosswire is what? Right around 6 a.m. this morning. Finally, that's right. Prince William and Kate Middleton are going to be married. They're getting engaged now. They're going to be married next spring or summer in London. There is a statement out of Buckingham Palace. Queen Elizabeth said she is absolutely delighted for her grandson and his bride-to-be.
The United States was founded on July 4th, 1776, in resistance to the hegemonic, despotic, tyrannical rule of King George III and the abuse against the colonies. And most of the British Parliament was against going to war with their fellow Englishmen because the king was unpopular there as well. It was known that he was a German king, his father being brought over to rule England. These people could barely speak English. Nothing against Germans, but you don't see me going over to Germany to rule them. The very essence of July 4th and 1776 is resistance to the disgusting House of Windsor. They didn't get that name until around World War I, because before that they were known as the Saxe-Coburg-Gothas. Notice that we hear their names. Prince William You never hear his last name, do you? The slave public, many of them in England, who support these people, don't even know their last names because they don't want you knowing their last names. 3 times in the last 3 years, the Parliament in Canada hasn't done what the Queen of England wants, so she suspended them, shut down the Parliament. Happened in the late 70s in Australia. This is a tyrannical group pushing eugenics, population reduction, all the carbon taxes. Prince Philip, the Queen's husband, another German royal prince, is a supporter of eugenics. His cousin, who was the prince married to the Queen of the Netherlands, unadmitted Nazi, unadmitted eugenicist. The point is, these are the most filthy, degenerate people you can imagine. She owns more than half of Canada, more than half the land in England, and then she's paid by the government for her palaces and all the rest of it. It's disgusting. And to watch U.S. television fawning, Fox, CNN, CBS, all of them, oh, it's so wonderful, no one in America can wait until next week, the way they're hyping it.
1 week until the royal wedding. This is exciting stuff. I mean, it's hard to, I mean, the energy is just palpable.
Some couples get married, they're just hoping that some bank will be nice enough to give them a mortgage.
Yeah.
These folks have a number of palaces to pick from.
NBC News is launching a free royal wedding app for the iPad.
This is truly a love story that captures everybody's attention.
This goes back to Edward Bernays 100 years ago, saying, look, to make politicians and royalty popular, we'll have Hollywood stars come to banquets and events with them. We'll have music stars. We'll have other people go there to basically make these elites be seen as celebrities themselves. You know why America was founded? Because under the imperial royal system in Europe and England, if you weren't part of the inside group who had basically the patronage of the crown, where they gave you land, houses, jobs, you couldn't even get a license to be a carpenter, a license to be a blacksmith, a license to brew beer, unless their local lords gave you the authorization. So it wasn't just that you had to pay outrageous taxes. You had to get their permission to even have a job, to have a profession. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the essence of globalism, is big mega corporations, many of which are owned and controlled by the German royal family that runs England and, of course, the Netherlands. The whole system they've set up and they promote is about this new global corporate system worldwide that, through government power, shuts down their competition and transfers the people's wealth through taxes to the offshore cartels. These people are parasites, they're disgusting, they're filthy, and if we want to reclaim the spirit of 1776, we should realize how abhorrent monarchy is in all of its forms. And that includes the UN and the new royalty under the unelected EU bureaucratic system, where over 80% of England's laws, even though they're not part of the EU, are made by EU bureaucrats. Please, everyone, remember the spirit of 1776. I know a lot of folks in England are saying they're going to go out and protest it. First, the government said you've got the day off slaves. You don't have to go to work on the big royal wedding coming up next week. And then the Republicans, that's a group that want to get rid of the monarchy in England, said we're going to protest in the streets. And the government said you're not allowed to protest. Meanwhile, they criticize Syria for banning protest. So anytime you see some mind-numb zombie talking about how exciting the wedding is or how they watched it, you're watching a bunch of twitly, inbred idiots that can't even dress themselves and have valets. And until just a few decades ago, they try to keep it quiet. They have people that wipe their butts for them, groom of the stool. Do you know the history of America? Do you know it started in resistance to this very usurping German family who aren't even British? Do you know that most of the English hate the royal family? Do you know they have a secret police system that basically threatens people that talk about getting rid of the monarchy? Do you know that Princess Diana on record told her butler and others that made a videotape saying Prince Charles has threatened me, he's going to kill me in a fake auto accident? These people are absolutely anathema. And the servile folks that have been raised to worship these people and all the little old ladies that think it's cute, well, that's why we're enslaved. That's why our country's bankrupt. That's why we're going to hell in a handbasket, because you've forgotten what it is to be an American, or perhaps you were never even taught. But now you're going to learn what it's like to be a subject, a slave. What is royalty? Royalty is Kim Jong-il in North Korea. His father took over and then gave him power, and now he's giving power to his son. Why don't they just put gold crowns on their heads and dress up with long flowing robes? Maybe then Americans would celebrate the royal wedding of Kim Jong-il's son. Oh, but they wear little military uniforms, and we know how clownish it is. But somehow we've been tricked at wearing big gold crowns and flowing robes. Is it more ridiculous and stupid? America has been great because it's not about what race you are or what family pedigree or how murderous your great-granddaddy was. It's about what you individually can do. It's about what you individually have to offer, being an inventor, a trailblazer, an explorer, someone who's brave, an artist, someone who has incredible literature in their soul. These royal, crony capitalist, non-free market systems always wage war against the individual. They always wage war against the productive. And the British royal family are at the head of pushing world population reduction. They are at the head of one-child policies. They are at the head of eugenics. They taught the Nazis everything they knew about eugenics. Do you understand this is mainline history? The King of England had to advocate at the beginning of World War II because he wanted to merge with Hitler.
The British royal family come from a long line of dictators. They're oppressive. They're anti-liberty and freedom. And here it is, all over the British and world news today, the outrage that dictators from oppressive Middle Eastern and African countries are coming, a whole gaggle of them, to the royal wedding. It's disgusting. It's a bunch of hereditary gangsters meeting, laughing at how they've tricked the public to worship their tyranny and think it's cute and funny and fashionable.
So down with the royals, down with the Saxe-Coburg-Gothas and their fake house name Windsor and their New World Order trying to retake North America. The planet's waking up, and the corporate barons, the UN barons, the unelected bureaucracy, the new royalty, backed up by the old royalty, are going down. We redeclare the spirit of 1776 against you and your ilk. You're on notice.
Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.
Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As we're finishing off this agenda, that we pull